Hi, I'm John Ruffi, and today we're going to continue our discussion on the circle of fifths. Now, as I said before in the last video, we saw that you have 7 notes out of 12 in a key, in the circle. They're all 7 adjacent notes. You have in the key of C, for example, you have your 1 in the center, you have your F and G, which are the 4 and 5 on either side, and if you were to follow what I call the primary direction of motion, the order would be 5, 1, and 4. Of course, you don't have to follow this. You could go 4, back to the 1, up to the 5, and back to the 1. But you'll find that 5 has a pull into the 1. A lot of that is because of the tritone, which we will get back to in a moment. So you have your 3 majors, the 1, the 4, and the 5. Next to that, we have 3 minors, the 2, the 6, and the 3. If we take all those and put them in the order of the circle, we have 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Now there's a reason that I'm explaining this, and you will find out shortly. There's one note we didn't get to yet, that's the 7. We'll put it right under the 1. That's our weird chord. It's actually the Locrian, gives you a minor 7 flat 5. And that's got that tritone in there, which gives you tension and wants to release to that. That tritone is actually the 2 furthest extremes of the scale within the circle. So in this case, going from F on one end all the way to B on the other, and if we were to add the other notes of the B half diminished, you still have that tritone in it. Or if we were to take our G7 chord, that's that same F and B tritone, which wants to lead into the 1 chord, the C. Now, what I would suggest is, let's take the circle and we'll go through the entire key. Within that circle, we have our, again, 1, 4, goes to the 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Know those numbers. And if I was to play it in chords, sounds like this. So if we were to take the same key, the same 7 chords, start on the relative minor, A minor, D minor, that's the 6 to the 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, and 6. Or I could put a 7th there for that 3, the E7, to pull into that A minor, make that sound like home. What you might want to do is take each of these, practice improvising all the way through. There are songs that are built just out of that progression. Say Autumn Leaves, for example. It's in the key of G, or a key of E minor, and it starts out on the 6, to the 2, to the 5, to the 1, to the 4, that half diminished 7, and the 3. Another one, Fly Me to the Moon. But you could create numerous chord progressions and songs using these, going straight through it. So what I would suggest is play through it within a key and get used to the sounds of those. You know, as you're hearing a song, you might hear little pieces, you know, of say just that 7 to 3 to 6 minor. As time goes on in the future, I think what I'm going to do is do some analyses of the harmonic progressions of some common standard tunes. Now, here's a couple other interesting, weird things about the circle. We know that we have fourths and fifths side by side, adjacent all the way around. If we skip every other tone in the circle, we get a whole tone scale, and we get what are called super strong chord changes. Say if I went from a D to a C, there are no notes in common. That's what's called super strong. If we do an adjacent chord in the circle, say a C to a G, there's one note in common. That's a strong chord change. And if we go from a C to an A minor, only one note changes, two notes stay the same. That's a weak chord change, and that's how you get your relative C to A minor. I mean, a C6 is an A minor. You might even say there is no such chord as an A minor, only the C6. You get an E minor, which is also related to C in that it's a weak chord change, only one note changed. You could go all the way through the circle just going by relatives and saying, well, let's change one note from a C to an E minor, change one to get to a G, and so on. Change one to get to a B minor, change one to a D, all the way around, and you'll end up eventually back on C. But what I wanted to point out is that if we go every other, we get our super strong. If we go every other chord, we have super strong changes, whole steps. If we go 2 tones away, I mean skip 2 tones from a C, we get to an A, which is a minor third. Now, if you look at this, it's going from like 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. If we continue that and say go another, skip another 2 chords, we go from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and then another 2, we go from 6 to 9 and back to 12. We end up getting a square within the circle, and this is our diminished arpeggio. Or if we were to play it in chords, I ran out of chords. I ran out of frets there. Now, in between that, we have our tritone going straight across from the C all the way down to the F sharp. So there's a certain relationship between minor thirds, 2 minor thirds make a tritone, and the diminished. And if you wanted a really striking chord change, you might say to get out of the key, I'll go a minor third, or go a tritone. If you really want to be obnoxious, that's how you get a lot of heavy metal sounding stuff. Now, if we were to go from C to E, we're now skipping 3 tones in the circle. And again, if we keep skipping 3 tones, we end up forming a triangle, and this will give us major thirds. Say from a C to an A flat to an E. These get a little bit more difficult to hear. modulation in a song, sometimes not easy to say like, oh well, he modulated from C to A flat, and sometimes when if you're writing a tune, to get there and make it sound smooth is not always that easy. You might go to a C minor and then go to an E flat and then go to A flat, and in that way disguise it, smooth it out to where people won't even realize like, wow, he changed keys. Now, if we were to skip one further, we went from C to A is a minor third, C to E is a major third, C to B, obviously that's just a half step. And then you have C to F sharp, which is our tritone. As I said before, you might want to play through the circle and improvise over all of these. And so on. You could do it all major chords, all seventh chords, all minor chords, and then try it just going through 7 notes in the circle. We did it in C. You could start it in A. You can start it anywhere you want and work on a different key, you know, one by one until you get to know them all. Okay, that's all for now. Y'all have a good one. Keep playing, and I hope you will like this video, subscribe to my channel so you can see other videos as I come out with them, and I'll talk to you next time.